Welcome to another session of Parent Academy Online. My name is Misha Stallworth, and I am a member of the Detroit Public Schools Community District Board. Today we have a group of our high school students who are going to share with you their perspectives and insights as teenagers. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi.
Could you guys share your names, your grade, and the neighborhood that you're from?
My name is Raja Norton. I'm an 11th grader, and I am from the west side of Detroit.
My name is Delonte Hall. I'm a senior, and I'm from the east side of Detroit.
My name is Alexis Glass. I'm a 12th grader, and I am from downtown Detroit.
Great. Got a nice cross-section. Everybody's from different places, so that's
Right.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Right.
So to start, I think it'd be really awesome to just kind of give us a baseline of what your life looks like. What's a day in your life like? In school, at home, just how you're spending your time.
Well, I know that when I first wake up, of course, it's the brush your teeth, get your hair together, and get ready for school. Once I get ready for school, go to school, my mom drops me off to school, and really, after that, it's just like it flows by. Go to class, go to lunch, associate with friends, go back home. Kind of like that.
For me, being a theater major, it's a lot of work, a lot of prep for theater. You're doing so much with acting and things like that, and then you have other opportunities you're looking forward to, which I am. It's just a whole lot, and it's a lot to balance. It's a lot to balance.
As a vocal major, I practice my music before school, after school, during school. Also practice radio and TV, and that's about it, as well as my academics.
I'm about to say, whoa.
Yeah.
So earlier when we were talking, I heard all of you kind of mention stress.
Yes.
I think, Raja, you said like the stress is picking up.
Yes.
Some of you guys said, well, you haven't seen anything yet, and kind of made it sound like you're even more stressed out than you've ever been. One of the things that we hear from parents a lot is concern about supporting you emotionally. So what does it look like to get support when you're stressed out? What would be helpful to you?
Understanding. I know that parents don't really get everything that we go through because, one, they haven't went through it, and if they have, they've probably gone through worse and they believe that they can handle it. Well, obviously, we all aren't the same people, so I feel as though we all need to, it needs to be an understanding. Like, okay, I understand, let me help you type of thing.
Yeah, and basically, like, I know that when I come home, it's first thing I want to try and help my parents as well, but they also, like, just like what Delonte was saying, it's really helpful when they understand that I just came home from, like, it feels like a job, school, 8-hour shift.
Yeah.
So, like,
For real.
so coming home, I think, like, for them to understand that sometimes you just need to relax because I'm so stressed, and it's, like, really overdoing it when I just come home.
To get everything done, I believe that communication and time management is key in any relationship. Trying to put forth an effort in everything that you do. And, communicating with your parents as what they were saying, building an understanding of what your year is about to look like.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I like what you're saying about communication because it feeds into a question I have, so you're each saying understanding, right? So how can a parent communicate to you that they understand? What kinds of things could they say or do that would let you know that they are trying to understand what you're going through?
Being willing to help, being willing to be there whenever we just need a break, whenever we just need somebody to talk to. Like, parents, when they don't understand, they tend to add their own opinion, which could possibly cause more stress to you. Mm-hmm. So just being able to lend that helping hand and being able to just say, I'm here if you need me. Mm-hmm. That's really important.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
I would feel like, just like what he was saying, being that shoulder to lean on, that is what we need, absolutely. Because I know from experience of my 11th grade year, I needed all of the help I could get with not just SAT, but relationships, boyfriend relationships, or even friendships. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Did you want to add anything, Roger?
They basically said everything
captured
else.
So I think as you're talking through that and saying that, you know, you want help and you want a shoulder to lean on, you know, some parents often feel like their teenagers are pushing away or are pulling away or trying to create more separation. But it sounds like you're saying, you know, you don't want to be separate. You want to be connected and supported.
Well, for some students, when things get hard, it's easy to bottle up and go in your room and not tell anyone. So I would understand why a parent would think that. But I just believe it takes that understanding, and sometimes the process is easier than other times.
Yeah, like sometimes it's just okay to just go in your room. It's, like for me, I know that when I go in my room, I know that I wouldn't want to like put my stress or my anger out on my family. So I would just rather go to my room and have myself in my room without having to, you know, influence my anger or emotions on them, if it's anger or if it's agitation, any of that.
They really have to listen for understanding when we speak to them. Do I need a lecture today? Do I need to vent today? Or do I want advice today? Things like that.
Yeah.
I like the way that you broke that out. I think that's really easy to understand, right? Like there is a time and place for a lecture, for people to share information that you don't know and maybe haven't experienced before. And there is a space to just listen and let someone vent, which can sometimes be really hard, right? Especially if you feel like you have an answer. It's hard. And then the third thing that you said was to
Advice.
give advice, right? So how do you see the difference between advice and a lecture?
Advice is like, I can't control what you're doing. I can't make you do anything, but here's my suggestion. A lecture is, you're wrong, and I'm going to tell you why you're wrong, and then I'm going to tell you what to do. You need to do it because I'm your parent.
Yeah.
Got it. And you're saying that as long as you have all three, you're okay with a lecture sometimes.
I'm okay with
Yes.
it.
Right.
Yes.
Give me all the three. Like,
You just need all three.
yes.
As children, as students, I believe we all need a lecture every now and then.
Yes.
Of course.
All right, I like that. So you said lecture, vent, and advice.
Yes.
You all sound really well adjusted, though. Do you have friends who maybe struggle with these things a little more?
Yeah. Yeah.
I think we all have our little issues. It's just how we all like control them, I guess, to some extent. Because I know that some of my friends, they don't really control a lot of situations very well. And I know for me, sometimes I don't either. But I feel like if we piggyback off of each other and give advice, just like how we said, like we all, you know, kind of get to the point we need to be, I guess.
Right. Alexis, it looked like you were going to say something. Were you?
I lost it.
It's okay. It happens to me all the time. I think another thing that we hear a lot from parents is just them trying to really understand how social media works and how you're using it. In my life, for example, I work with a lot of older adults, and so they might use Facebook, but they don't use it for events. They only use it really for photos and kind of discussion. People my age use it a lot for events. Like your event doesn't exist if it's not on Facebook, right?
Right.
So I think there are just differences in how we all use these platforms. And I know parents are really interested in how you're using them and what they do for you.
I feel like we're just photogenic now. Like this generation is just really photogenic. So it's not really, well, I don't think it's really a purpose for it. We just post pictures and see, we really just connect on the social media. Like if I don't have one of my friends' number, I know that they have a social media, so connect with them. I just really think we're photogenic. So we just use social media to post our pictures and have other people see our pictures.
Next.
I would say we go on social media to see what's trending, what's hot right now.
Right.
Yeah.
So, see what our favorite celebrity wore on the AMAs, BET Awards, things like that.
Yeah, like they were saying, I believe we do use social media for all those senses, but in another way, social media is used in a broader sense as well to make change, to make and to be informal. So like looking at your jacket, I see that Kaepernick fan.
Yeah.
That whole thing with Kaepernick, and it like blew up on social media, and he got more respect and followers from that. So social media could help, and parents should see that. But social media could also be a crutch, and parents should also see that as well.
Right, right. Sure, I should take this moment to say that the political opinions that I express are my own and not that of the district. And then just looping back, I think it's really cool, again, how you all kind of touched on these different aspects, right? So you, Raja, kind of talked about how you just like to take photos.
Yeah.
And if your friend doesn't have a number, if you don't have their number, you can reach them, which is definitely something that's different for me even. I forget that I can call people through Snapchat. Like I forget that that's an option.
Yeah.
And then we have this concept of social change and how you do that connectivity. And then what you were saying, Alexis, about how you can just kind of follow what's going on and connect with like a broader conversation. I think those three things are really cool and kind of address different areas of engagement. I think with them though, it's natural for parents to be concerned when there's something you're doing that they don't necessarily have access to,
Right.
or when you're able to talk to people that maybe they don't know, right? So, what would you say to a parent who is concerned about that? Do you understand what they're concerned about? What would you say to them?
I would say that, I'm sorry.
It's okay, go ahead.
Okay, I would say that,
Go ahead.
I would say that we're not gullible, or in other words, we're not naive. So we're not going to put ourselves out there on social media to get talked about. So I would say that they wouldn't have to worry because we're good kids
But
for the most part.
I'm sorry. I also feel like they should be worried to a certain extent because it's not just children or teenagers that's on social media. There are, adults out there, and if your page isn't private, if your page is public, they have access to that kind of stuff. So I'm not really like against the parent having your page, what's the name of your page or any of that, because you don't know, something can happen one day and they need that information to help out.
I think it's really interesting that you said that, Raja, because I do think that that's something people don't often hear from younger folks, right? I mean, we're often trying to kind of establish ourselves and establish our independence. And like Alexis said, let people know, like, I am responsible. You have taught me good things, right?
Yes.
But then at the same time, what is the role that you see parents playing in your life as you're getting older? Which I kind of am hearing you say that safety component is still there.
Yeah.
But what other roles do you see them playing?
The consistent protector, definitely.
Still protecting you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that caring and being protective plays a big part because, like I was going to say, parents want to protect you. So, of course, they're going to want to know this, know that. What time is this? What time is that? Where would that be? And things of that sort. But in some cases, you just have to let the child learn. Like you have to let us learn. You have to. I know we'll make mistakes, and I know you may have the answer to them, but sometimes you have to let us make them. Let us learn from them.
Definitely.
I feel like if we were able to get that space to learn from our mistakes, we won't be able to. If we didn't have that space to learn from our mistakes, it's like we're going to build it up, and maybe once we get older, there may be some things that we do because we didn't learn them as we were a child or as a teenager. So I think we should get that space to be able to learn from our mistakes instead of just saying, you shouldn't do this because you do this. If you do this, you'll get that. So
Right.
I think learning from our mistakes is better than anything, honestly.
Yeah. I kind of hear almost a natural progression as we've been talking. So, we started out, you all were saying about how important communication and understanding is, right? And then we kind of got into this space of being not just protective, but also kind of observing where the point that you've gotten to, that you've been able to get to, right? And throughout being consistent. Like, you want your parents to be there, right?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely,
Right?
definitely.
You want them present, but you also want them sometimes to kind of take a step back and watch you and listen, and then come in as needed. Is that
Yeah.
kind of how it's?
Yes,
Yes,
absolutely.
Does that make
absolutely.
sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think we're going to wrap up, but what I want to do to close is just have each of you share if there was like one thing that you wanted parents or adults to know about you, to know about, your peer group. What would that one thing be?
I think just being very observant. Just observe how we act on a daily basis and how we come home. Because if you observe things and not just go straight into, did you do this or did you do that, questioning us, I feel like if we're observed better, you'll be able to see more things other than just making assumptions and stuff like that. So observant, really.
One thing I would say is caring. That big part of caring, like no matter what we have to say, no matter what we're going through, no matter what the situation is, just let us talk to you and care and give us the best advice you can give us and help us the best way you can. So caring would be one big thing for me.
I feel like for the parents, they should always stay committed because, we do make mistakes. So, just stay committed to us, engage in our lives, and be there for us.
Yeah.
That's great. Thanks so much, you all. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
You can find more information and other conversations like this by visiting the Parent Academy website or call the office.